You gonna pull back up this again?
Okay.
Hey, y'all. Here we are again. This is Stephen Williams. They call me the Good Bishop. I'm hanging out today on Father's Day. Trying to do something special. I know I don't look like much of nothing right now. And so we are just taking some time on this good old Father's Day gig. I got my boy here, Sonny Miles, and I think he's gonna do a reggae tune, a Bob Marley, and so we're gonna vibe with that for just a minute. And I appreciate you coming into my space. It's just a candid conversation on Father's Day with myself and himself, Sonny Miles. So check it out. We did something before, but we're gonna do it again. So here he is. Check him out. And we're gonna talk about where he come from and how he got to where he is.
Come on and steer it up, little darling, steer it up. Oh, I'll say, come on and steer it up, little darling, steer it up. It's been a long time since I've got you on my mind. Ooh. Now that you're here, I wanna know if you are mine. Ooh. Come on and steer it up, little babe, little darling, steer it up. Oh, now. Come on and steer it up, hey, little darling, steer it up. It's been a long time, oh, since I've got you on my mind. Ooh. Now that you're here, oh, I wanna know if you are mine. Ooh. Come on and steer it up, little darling, steer it up. Yeah, yeah, baby. Oh. Come on and steer it up, little darling, steer it up.
Go ahead, you got it. Go for it, son.
I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on. And I'm gonna put it on. Feel them spirits. Oh, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on. Oh,
think nobody thought that I knew them songs. That's reggae music from Bob Marley. Yeah, we're gonna go over this again. We're still rolling. We're gonna go over this again. Just tell the people where you came up with the name Sonny Miles, and then how did you really get started with this whole notion of the music thing? Because your mother and I had no clue until
chilling.
Yeah, I think I used to listen to you. I used to sit up on the step, and you would be down here with earphones.
That's crazy.
And I would call your mom, and I'd say, "Listen." I said, "Listen to the quality of his voice." I would literally sit on the thing and listen to you do music. And this was senior year of high school.
Yeah.
And so we had absolutely no clue that you were that engrossed with music. So
yeah, it was deep. Sonny Miles, combination of Sonny Stitt and Miles Davis. Definitely a tribute to my grandfather. He passed away, I think 2008 or 9. I was 12. But he played me and showed me a lot of jazz music when I would go over there and spend the night at Nana and Papa's. It wasn't anything crazy, but I just remember that was kind of where it started. And then, obviously, like playing drums in church.
Yeah.
That was definitely one thing.
Yeah, but that wasn't singing. We didn't know
singing.
you could sing.
Nah, I was chilling.
Until
And,
later on.
Yeah. I think probably around 15, I got an iPod, and I just started downloading a lot of music, and just like downloading. I would always read Rolling Stone, see which albums were like really good, so I'd download those. And like I just get to listening. I'd be down here playing Battlefront or like any video game, but more often than not, I was listening to music, just kind of like intaking music all the time.
And we never knew.
I would be pretty quiet. I was always like really quiet, and I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think I knew how to sing until at the end of junior year. I had my last track meet at regionals, and I like bombed. I got like 5th place in the 400, and I just remember I was like exhausted, and there was Moss. He just like picked me up. He's like, "It's all good, bro. We about to keep going." And shortly after that, I saw a play called Godspell.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of like the trigger. Just watching people perform, I was like, I could do that, I guess. And I think somewhere in the middle of that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try out for this a cappella group. And that's what I did.
This is high school?
Yeah, this is at the end of junior year of high school. And then I got in for the a cappella group for senior year. And senior year was the first time I just started singing. So we would be in a cappella class, just like rehearsing, coming up with like arrangements and stuff, you know. Just kind of chilling. But it was good to have community of people I could sing around, and just like we're here to sing.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, it just went out of my ear.
I know. I hit something.
Oh, it's okay. But push it back into the foot, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, that was kind of it.
You back in?
Yeah. So it was just like a lot of singing, a lot of research. I was just a big lover of music, so I was always taking in music. So I was inadvertently learning how to sing, how people sang. I don't know. It was just a lot of research.
Because I had already been doing music.
Bada boom. So I knew how to practice. Like, that's the thing, like all those rehearsals, like learning where to sing from, kind of hearing you reiterate, like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. And then just being upstairs or like anywhere, like just listening to rehearsals down here, I'd be like, okay. You don't really know you're taking in everything. You're just like playing video games. I'm like, whatever. Like, Dad's got a rehearsal, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But in that time, you're learning how to sing properly. You're learning where to sing from. You're learning how to practice. So it innately gave me a work ethic of how to go about it. And then every Sunday, we're always playing.
Yeah.
We're always playing on the spot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then good will come. So we go from one rehearsal to two services.
Yeah.
So we always playing. I'm always like listening, always paying attention in some regard. Even if I look like I'm not, I'm just like paying attention. So I don't know. You kind of just wake up and like, oh, I can sing. Oh, okay. That was crazy. I didn't know I could do that.
So here's the irony. You didn't know. I don't know if you knew, but here's the irony. I started singing junior year high school.
That's crazy.
I played drums until junior year high school.
That's crazy.
And here's the fluke. There was a girl that I dated. She just passed away, Stephanie, God rest her soul. An ex-boyfriend of hers was trying to get me to be embarrassed. And we were in the choir. And so we're in the back. Stephanie was the soloist. So she could really, really sing. And excellent soprano. And he said, I bet you can't harmonize with her. And so he was thinking I was going to bomb. And so I told him, I said, bro, you don't know me, back then.
You don't want this?
You don't want this? Yeah, I'm not taking back that to anybody. And I harmonized with her, and it blew everybody away. And then I stopped singing.
Why'd you stop singing? What you mean?
I was a ball player. I was basketball.
What?
I was strictly a ball player. I was a baller.
That was the position.
Huh?
That was the position.
That was it.
Your role.
Yeah, like you had to know your role, and you had to play your role. And so I ended up doing that, and that's how I got into it. Carl, I laugh because mine was in the senior year of high school and really first year of college.
Yeah.
When I discovered I could sing, didn't know it, had no clue. Had no clue.
It's the irony, man.
Yeah, had no clue. So
that's
good
kind of how
deal.
it started, and then just kept moving. Did a cappella in college. Just kept learning, kept surrounding myself with like new sources, new influences. I was pretty big, just like you, as far as like why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
And then just like doing that homework there. But yeah, just couldn't stop.
He got bit by the bug. He got bit by the bug. He got bit by the bug. So in your style of music, who do you mimic? Now, you said you started off with Prince. So
yeah, no doubt.
What happened after that? Is that the first vibe that you wanted to go into the Prince scene?
I think the first one that hit me was D'Angelo when I was 14 or 15.
Lord D'Angelo,
Yeah.
you're my lady.
Yeah.
Church people, I know that. Everything I sing, though, I turn into gospel.
That was it, though.
And,
it was,
and you were done. You keep talking. You were done by then?
I mean, at that point, it was like 14 to I guess maybe like 16 or 17. And then I think life just kind of, I was like, I'm going to be a high school student. And then once I got to school, I want to say halfway through first semester, I was kind of like dabbling into Prince. And then at the end of my first year, that's when the Prince thing got pretty deep. Just because you learn like, oh man, he's got like 1 billion albums. And like, oh, he's been around since like really the 70s. And I don't know, he was just weird. He was really weird.
He was.
Super weird, but super into Prince. I think Sly Stone followed after. Honestly, it was Stevie that followed after, because Stevie's crazy. But you had already showed me Stevie when we were younger, or when I was younger, so I had like known Stevie. I was familiar with him. But that's when I really got obsessed with like Intervisions and Music of My Mind and Talking Book. And then it went to Sly, and then it went to Marvin Gaye, and then it went to Al Green.
Wait a minute, back up now. What you say about Intervision and what?
Yeah, Intervisions, Music of My Mind, Talking Book. These are all, I got pretty obsessed with like his, what it's called is his classic period, where he was,
Stevie's or?
Yeah, Stevie's.
Okay.
And he was
Boy, who knew?
Yeah, literally. He was like super in with Motown, and then he was like, I don't want to sing about love anymore, Berry Gordy. Like, I want to sing about what I want to sing about. And then everything was going on in the 70s as far as like the overturns of what the 60s did.
Certainly.
So music began to really start to be politicized in a way that was acceptable and like digestible.
Late 60s, right? Vietnam.
Absolutely.
Is that whole vibe. And that's
Yes.
where your Marvin Gaye's and your, you believe it or not, are you ready for this? Oh my God. Godfather of Soul.
James Brown.
Say it loud. Boom, boom, boom. I'm black and I'm proud. Boom, 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 boom. Say it loud. You know, that and it was a lot of people who, so where you are now, that conscience music is something that was really happening. Life is really cyclical, and that they started that whole vibe of what we call woke music. That's been happening more than 50 years ago now, and so I think Millie Rippleton was a part of that, and there was another lady. Oh man, is it Simone?
Nina Simone. Absolutely.
Nina Simone.
Yes.
Yeah, those were conscience music, conscience music back in the 60s and 70s. And so, and I was a Stevie fan. That's kind of how I got my playing style was from Stevie. I always thought everything had even today, I write more groove music than I do. I have to really practice worship music because worship music is so slow, and it's 4/5 or 5/6/4/1.
That's it.
4/5/6/1 4/1/6/5, and that's and just a lot of words. But I came from that whole thing of Stevie, but I did not realize how complex his music was.
It's ridiculous. Like,
I didn't know that.
It's ridiculous. And I think, I don't know, once you get hit by one, then you figure out, oh, wow, this is why. This is what it is. I was always very obsessed with, like, okay, why does this matter? Like, what is so special about it? Other than it being the first person or, like, the first time you hear something like that.
Yeah.
But then as you dig into it and you're like, oh, so they're really making new sounds, or, like, this was the first time anyone was doing something like this of that caliber.
Yeah.
So it just added a weight to it. But I don't know. I just always, once I like really got hit with it in college, I was studying all the greats. Like, I feel like every year there came a new obsession with somebody musical. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was somebody. But I'm just coming off my tail end of Funkadelic and Parliament. Love those guys last year. I
lived
big.
through that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like those guys are crazy. So I don't know. I'm just kind of still waking up.
Oh, the mothership.
Okay.
You don't know nothing about the mothership.
All the YouTube videos. I've been watching so many concerts, man.
Bootsy Collins.
Bootsy, baby.
Bootsy, baby. Yeah, those were, yeah. I remember that. That's in my era, before I knew what church really was. I mean, we were already always in church, but we were always, like you, influenced by music, but didn't know what it was. Couldn't understand what that whole vibe was. Listening, like I was sharing with you earlier. I mean, the Doobie Brothers and the Eagles and Hall & Oates and you ain't gonna believe this. I ain't shared it, but stuff like Footloose, Kenny Loggins. Don't know no words to none of them. And then I ran into probably 80s, 90s, maybe 80s, 90s, Garth Brooks. I ran smack into him.
You love Garth Brooks back when I was a kid.
I ran smack into Garth Brooks. And I was always a Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton fan, and country for the Barbara Mandrells. And then I messed around and found Count Basie, and I found the orchestras and stuff like that. And so I'm like, I didn't know what that was about. I never pursued it quite like you did. You really hit it hard. I mean,
Yeah. You can't play no games, bro.
You really hit the ground hard.
Can't play no games.
Doing that.
I guess it's just like you get bit by one thing and you're like, okay, I think I could keep doing this. At a certain point, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just keep trying stuff. And, thankfully for you, like, you were always providing that space and those tools, so that way I could easily get those resources.
Oh yeah.
And like,
but I didn't want to be hindered. I think a part of what hindered me about music was my father was not around, and then when he had come back, when I was like 11 or 12, I'll never forget this, like 12 or 13, when I'm going into junior high, I'm in the 7th grade, and I wanted to play the saxophone for the life of me. That was, oh my God, Jesus. if I could have just played the saxophone. And I'm in the 7th grade, and they were going to rent the microphones. I mean, they were going to rent the saxophones to you.
And stuff?
The equipment.
That's crazy.
You know, they were going to rent it to you. And my father made this big deal. My son ain't going to be renting nothing. I'm going to buy him a saxophone. I was sitting in class going over the things with no horn because he never bought the saxophone. And so they had to move me out of band and put me in chorus. Fancy that.
Wow.
That was in 7th grade. Wow. And so I had, because I was not able to get a saxophone, I never did learn how to play the sax, which was that was my ultimate desire, was to play the saxophone, because I had that jazz influence when I was a kid, and I thought that was the thing. But he never bought the sax, so they moved me from one arts to the other arts, and that was chorus.
That's crazy.
That's how I got into chorus and got into listening. I wasn't even singing. I was listening to techniques. And I was just listening to the teachers, but I wasn't really giving it nothing. The girls was in chorus, so I thought that was the move. In 7th grade, I had on Jordache and Sassoon jeans at that time, and they were tight.
Sick.
We wore tight jeans back then. And that's how I actually got into the chorus. But like you, it was just there. You're not paying attention, but it's there. So Prince is out of the gate. What's one of your favorite songs from Prince? You need to at least sing a song from Prince. Which one can you do? Because you did one right before he died.
Oh, I Would Die For You?
No, that wasn't it. You did you did a recording of. It was just, you did a cover tune, and you remember everybody loved it, but it wasn't I Would Die For You.
I thought it was I Would Die For You.
What?
I know I did a cover of that one.
Oh, you did. You did one, and I can't even remember. Where's your mama when we need her? You know.
Come through.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. I don't know. It's something. Little Red Corvette Kiss, something.
Yeah. How's that one to start? Yeah. I guess you should have known by the way you parked your car sideways that it wouldn't last.
Yeah.
'Cause you're the type of person that believe in making out once, loving them, leaving them fast. I guess you must be dumb. You had a pocket full of horses, Trojan and some of them used. It was Saturday night, I guess that makes it alright. And you said, what have I got to lose? Honey, I said, little red Corvette. Ooh, baby, you're much too fast. Little red Corvette. Ooh, you need to find a love that's gonna last.
I never understood his music. The only song I really liked was Kiss.
What? Bro, all his music is crazy.
Kiss.
That's the one, bro. Prince is the one, man.
Yeah, I was a Michael fan, so it took
Michael
me.
was good.
It took me a while to understand the value of Prince, because I didn't realize how much musicianship until I got into the musicianship. I did not realize, you playing 18, 19 instruments, and then we didn't know that he had created that himself, and like he had done the bass, he had done the drums, he had done the keys. That wasn't readily available for us. There wasn't ready knowledge back then, I mean, it was albums, and then he was. You got to remember what you want, but you have to think about it this way. In 76, when he's coming out, we did not know what he was. His albums were, we didn't know if he was a girl or a boy. And back then, it was really starch that you were one or the other. And if you were in the middle, you were not received as well. Prince was a part of the white rock group more than he was with Black America.
I believe that. No doubt about that.
Michael was the image. Mike was the image. And so, and then when Thriller came, Off the Wall came out, we were like, whoa. We was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then when Thriller came out, like, that was it. And so there was always this little notion of who Prince was, but he was more of a rocker.
Yeah, he was deep into it.
Yeah, but when you go back and you listen to his musicianship, it was ridiculous. I mean, being able to do all those things.
Yes, sir.
Coming from those different places.
Yes, sir. So, Prince was the truth.
Yeah, by far. So D'Angelo, Prince.
Yeah, I think there was always a huge influence of hip hop too, just because I couldn't listen to it up until a certain age.
Right.
And then when that bug hit me, I think that's really like my first love. Because at 13, the whole reading Rolling Stone, trying to figure out what was it, that was really centered in rap music. Because it was like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you have to like sift through the bad in order to find the gems.
Yeah.
But when you find them, and then, I don't know, that's where I really learned wordplay. In 7th grade, my teacher, Mr. Fossa, he made us learn about alliteration and like similes and metaphors and stuff. So he was playing these songs that had examples of similes and metaphors. So I'd be like, that's crazy. And he showed us all these new things. And he showed us Nas. And that was when I was like, whoa. And from there, it was like the rabbit hole. Because once you learn about Nas, then you're like, oh, so this was around like a guy named Biggie. Oh, then there's this guy named Tupac. And then, and like for me, I'm like, oh man, like, okay, so there's a West Coast thing, there's an East Coast thing. So then you're like, whoa, okay, Dr. Dre, Tupac, NWA, Snoop Dogg, whoa.
Yeah.
And it just like, I don't know. So then you begin to learn all of it.
Yeah.
So I think, that gave me the lyricism tip before the music really became like I can do this.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it
well,
kind of just kept going.
we were not privy. By the time you get to Nas and Tupac and Biggie, we were so heavy into gospel, and I think at that time, lyrically, the influence was, man, it was coming from a place that as parents we weren't ready for our children to be there.
That was raunchy.
Because it was really,
to a degree, yes sir.
Yeah, it was hardcore, but to their advantage, to their promoting, they were singing about stuff that they had seen. Well, we were in the South. We didn't see that.
That's real.
And so that influence, we were busy trying to make sure we protected our children from language, from the cops, and from women, but they were looking at that in LA. I didn't find out this stuff. I still don't understand the whole Nas thing, but they say he was absolutely poetic in what he did. I ended up with, I never did I never did Tupac and Biggie, but I ended up liking Snoop for the beats.
Yeah, Snoop was crazy. Dr. Dre's crazy, man.
Dr. Dre, and I didn't know about that whole notion of being behind the scenes. I was thinking, that's Snoop, but it really wasn't Snoop. It was Dre, and that was that driving force that I found out later on in music. Yeah. That you can have one thing on the front end, but you have to have a team. You have to have an undercurrent and a sound, if you will, on the back end that is not necessarily seen, but it's felt and it's heard. Mm-hmm. And I only know one song by Snoop. It's a D-O-double-G, something like that. Something. And it was like 2 songs that I did that I was killing. Like I was like, this beat is bananas.
Yeah, Dre was it.
Yeah, but I didn't understand Tupac. I didn't understand Biggie.
Pac was good because I think the difference with Pac, you have to get past, like, it's hard to get past the vulgarity of it.
Right.
Especially with Biggie. In some cases, like a lot of those East Coast guys, it was more just like we're telling about our lives. But at least with Pac, Ice Cube.
Yeah.
First couple albums with NWA. These guys are smart.
They were. When I go back now, when I went back to reach them in my 30s, I'm like lyrically.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
What Tupac was saying lyrically was like, whoa.
Yes, sir.
Like really.
Yes, sir.
Was way out, and he was really talking some serious stuff, But again, it was a part of his lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
And also, I could understand, especially then, because now we're looking at like an overhaul of media and news sources and information in a way that we've never really been able to think about even 10 years ago. So I can only imagine 20, 25 years ago, like if all of your news sources and media are telling you like, oh, this is what they're saying in rap and like this is what they're doing in that and like, ew, you got like unless you're in that situation, living in those circumstances, it's hard to even think about that and like reflect on that.
Certainly.
So it takes some like, okay, let me find the good. Like you showed me Black Star. Shout out to you because Black Star was like, okay, these are like two conscious brothers like speaking about things going on. You learn about the Roots and like Jungle Brothers and A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
You got to like take what the bad is and like, okay, let me find some good in there and like let me blend these two worlds and like see what they talking about.
I didn't get the Roots till I got what was the girl? Who was the girl? Not the Root. Who was the girl? Oh my God! Killing me softly.
Lauryn Hill.
So when I find Lauryn,
the Fugees, shout out.
Fugees. So when I find them, but it was because of her singing.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill, something
that triggered me to go back and start listening to all of the other genres at that particular time. You're talking about the Fugees and the Roots and I don't know when they come into the play. Again, I'm a gospel dude, so I'm laying on my side of the genre, picking and choosing what I want to listen to
cautiously,
very, very cautiously.
Got to.
But when she came, because again, that was the trigger for her. That song was an old song.
So it's really like revisitation.
It was, and it was the same thing we were talking about with D'Angelo. Cruising is what made me listen to him, but that was because
it's the childhood.
It was a part of my childhood. I'm listening to Cruising right now, 705 Armstead Street, in the projects, and I can hear Smokey Robinson singing "Baby, Let's Cruise Away from Here." We had not heard anything like that, and I'm right there now. And so when D'Angelo comes along and he does it, it piques me. I'm like, oh snap! I know that song, and that's when you start listening to his musicianship, and you be like, what the what? I thought he was a little bit crazy on Voodoo, but
Voodoo was it, bro. Voodoo was the one. Voodoo was like, that's the one. Because he's with Questlove. You got Questlove. They're over there at Jimi Hendrix studio. You got James Poisner. Crazy thing about that, crazy history. If you go back and listen to Common, like Water for Chocolate, Erykah Badu, Mama's Gun, and D'Angelo Voodoo, they're all made in Electric Ladyland Studios. All engineered by the same guy. He's called Russ Elevado. They call him the Dragon. And it was all made in a short time span. Like Erykah Badu, Mama's Gun, that album was made in between like basically takes of Voodoo and like Water for Chocolate. And they were like, we just have all this extra time. Let's just make Erykah's album real quick. And like all of it's just like jams.
Wow.
So if you go back and listen to those, it's a beautiful renaissance of like R&B where it was in 2000, but also just like sonically, boom, it's out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Voodoo and like all that stuff is out of here.
Don't know but one song from Erykah Badu. I'm just,
bro, Mama's Gone is it. Like Times of Wasting, Bag Lady.
Nope.
All that's Mama's Gun. I'm telling you, those are some good ones, bro.
None of
Gotta get
all I know is you better call Tyrone.
And that's what's crazy. It's crazy.
That's all I know.
Tyrone makes it out of all of this, and I love Tyrone.
But that speaks to music. You know, it speaks to you know, I mean, like I'm listening to you light up when you talk about this music, and I am somewhat intrigued and excited all at the same time that you have done your homework.
Nerd.
Because I'm a student of the music game, and to take what you've gotten out of your genre of music and your season of it, and then to drag in old styles is phenomenal. You know, I didn't know that about you. You know, and so I'm very that's exciting.
You got to be a nerd for the tunes. You got to study, even then, like now, because I think right now rap is in a weird place of like people don't really understand like the mumbling thing. A lot of the older heads, like my barber, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'll be like, I don't really understand like all this stuff. Like I don't get it. And I was very anti all of this new rap and like trap form, especially when I got to school. Like I was so like anti that. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to any of that new stuff. Like, yeah. And then this gentleman by the name of Playboy Cardi comes along. And Mas and I, we've been talking a lot about form in music right now and just like studying new form.
Mas is his friend, y'all. Yeah. Just one of his good childhood friends.
Genius.
Intelligent, very much so. Genius. You just come over here and eat up my food, and when you get your money, I want a plane ticket somewhere.
He'll come in here and he'll open up the fridge like
he
live here
today. Yeah.
I swear, he came to Mom's house maybe about 4 months ago, and he did the same thing. I was like, Mas, I ain't seen you in like 2 years. You just gonna walk up in here like this fridge is yours. So nevertheless.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
But just learning about new music, I'm still kind of not really rocking with the vibes today, just because in the same repetitive nature that the 90s was in revisitation, now it's almost like a lazy sampling of the 90s.
Gotcha.
And it's a little trash. It's a little trash.
Again, you know, it is very cyclical. Music is light, but then life is very cyclical. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, the same thing. You can go back to the 60s and we're still having protests, the same ones that we're seeing now. I mean, that was back in the 60s. So you're talking about almost 50, 60 years ago. And so you know, life is very, 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 very that way. Yeah. That's a good deal, man. I didn't realize you did all of that. And so what style of music? So who do you mimic your vocals after? Yeah, when you think about it, did you study vocally or did you study musically?
Mm-hmm. It was more musically. I think I got my chops of how to like lead and do from you, just from watching.
Yeah.
Because you just like learn over time. I think as I studied music, I would be like, oh, in the sense of like David Bowie, as I learned about him, he's a big cherry picker. So he'd be like, oh, I like that one thing. I'm going to just take that and perfect that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing. I think my choppy playing is Prince, but when you learn Prince got that from Sly, then it's like, okay, I'm just copying Sly.
Right.
And like in the same thing with music, I think I spent a lot of time mimicking Al Green, like a lot of time. Especially junior year, I was like always watching Al Green videos. So I think his performance nature and control.
Oh yeah, his performance was wonderful.
Definitely got a lot from Al Green.
So
the mic control, all that stuff. Like he was crazy.
Yeah.
But there's, I don't know. I didn't really study like singers. I would study their music, and then I would be like, I like that one thing. I'm gonna take
that one thing out. Got you.
And I was always big on like not liking people who like intentionally sounded like their predecessors or their influences.
Gotcha.
So I always tried to not do that. I would like study over, and I'd be like, I'm gonna make sure I don't do that. And before I do that, I'll like learn where it came from, and then I'll find my own little tweak. So
good deal.
I don't know. I guess like any of the soul greats, anybody that's like in the conversation, I want to be one of the best. Much like, you know, how you raised me up on.
Right.
So I think over time you see the best influences, boom, 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 like that. I'm gonna take that.
Now your metaphoric writing style, that's birthed out of the Nas thing, or is that where that comes from?
Definitely rap. Definitely just the essence of poetry. Big Jay-Z fan as well. His first couple albums. I mean, I like all of his albums, but like just the way that he can like, I don't know, he'll definitely be talking about this thing, but this thing is also included in what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's cool. Plus, he's a Sag. You know, I'm a Sag, so I love the alliteration. I love like the comparisons. So I'll take that. And like, I don't know. It just kind of depends. And when I was coming up, Kendrick Lamar, like in high school, my
Yeah,
son,
everybody. Yeah, I remember you used to talk about Kendrick all the time.
love Kendrick, and he was cool. Of course, J. Cole. But when you learn that maybe Kendrick might be one of the few original people who came up in our time,
yeah,
it just makes me look back more. I would rather like see where the old influences are, and maybe see like where they got influenced, and
Right.
then probably take that influence.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm just big on like finding the source and then finding that inspiration of the source.
Good deal.
And then like, let me see about it, you know?
That's a good deal, man. That's a good deal. This has been good. You gonna sing us another song out? Cause this is cause some of your music, you know, I am a super duper fan of your early work. You know, that Everest. We were just singing that the other day. Just the metaphoric. I think we were so impressed with. I was impressed with how you wrote, because it was so much metaphor and a message, and you would be like, "Wow! Like, how in the world did you come up with that whole concept? Like, you take me to Everest, you know, where you go." I mean, the way that you pulled those things out of the air, and I love to write beautifully, but man, that metaphor was like bananas. Oh my God! I can sit up and listen to that now, and even with your music now, it's metaphoric. Like, it really is. You have undertone messages in it, which is not like gospel.
Yeah, you gotta have the messages.
Yeah, but yours is it's like, pow. All right, I'm gonna slap you. Like, who knows? You would think, okay, I'm gonna love you to the moon, and then you'd say something like, you know, the moon, you know, the redness of the moon is what draws me to the redness of your hair. I'll be like, what? Wait a minute, wait a minute, what you talking about? You know, and you know, primrose, you know, dance like primrose. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like what? What are you talking about? But that's that beautiful metaphorically that you write, that is just simply bananas.
It was good.
Where do you go from here? You know, what are you doing now, and what are you gonna go from here, and all that good stuff?
Gotta keep writing. Right now, it's channeling. I guess like probably, I don't know, just like channeling what's going on right now, trying to be a source of information and hope.
Okay.
It's kind of hard because music's a little bit done right now.
What you mean by music is done right now? Music ain't never done.
Never done, but like, ain't no shows, ain't no tours. The only thing you have right now is live concerts and just continuing to put out new music.
Yeah.
So shout out to like DistroKid and Spotify and all of that stuff. The goal was to get out of here this year and to push the sound in another state. I mean, I proved that I could do it in Winston, proved that I could do it in Raleigh. So it's just trying to take it to another place, see where else I can like spread the message and just be financially viable above anything else. Like, nowadays, everybody's got a different standard of making it, so you don't necessarily have to have 40 million monthly listeners to have success.
Right.
You know, but it's just continuing. Right now, I just need to speak for what's going on, be a bit of a more sound voice for the youth. I don't want to speak for the youth, but as I continue to I've always kind of looked around like, okay, who's coming? Somebody's got to be coming.
Yeah.
And as I continue to grow older and get better, I'm like, oh, no one's quote unquote coming, maybe it's me.
Yeah.
So now it's like stepping in it. I think I always doubted it, and it keeps getting validated, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But now I'm at the point where I don't know how much more validation I need. Now I'm just at the point now where we got to step. But we just got to switch up how we stepping now. Cause
you got to switch how you step.
You can't really, we not stepping for the same goals. We're not stepping to do this at a live show anymore. If anything, we're making the music just so it can be heard and like to get streams.
Yeah.
But like there's so many conscious and political issues that we really need to focus on. So I'm like, all right, if we're going to talk about this stuff, let's talk about it. And then let's also like be a financial source for
Right.
like people who are struggling, you know what I mean?
Music has always played a part in that, though, just so that you know. I mean, music has always been a part of the conscience, and that's how we've managed. I am probably going through 30 years later this whole thing of that I have enough to be what I need to be, and musically. So I've been writing music, and I've been in what I call the cave, and I've been writing some music, and you've certainly been helping me mix some of that stuff, and some of it is decent.
Really good. Really
and
good.
some of it is good,
Really
you
good.
know, and but it's that whole notion of being okay that where you are right now is the place where you need to be. You know, that's that whole conscious thing, being able to put that music out there. How I'm gonna ask you this, and then we're gonna get out of here. How do you get your ideas? Where do they come from? How do you craft your sound? How do you craft your music? What's your beginning process? And I'll talk about mine.
I think melody always starts in the head. It comes from somewhere, and then you start hearing it in your head. And then all my friends will definitely attest. Every time I was at school, if we were at a party and I just dipped away, I was dipping away to like voice memo something in my head. Or if we were at Brennan's house, I was dipping away to somewhere where he had a guitar, and I'd just be in quiet and like in silence there. So
That's so sad.
But it's like so great. I'll be like, I don't need none of y'all. I'll be like,
you sound like, I'm gonna tell you sound like your father. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm at a conference. I'm in a conference in LA. I'm in a conference in LA, and we're sitting up, and all of a sudden I've got to go find a piano.
immediately.
I mean, immediately. And I'm calling the concierge. I said, do you have a piano? Do you have something that's kind of off where, I need something. I need a piano, something that's way, way, way off. And you find that. And even to this day, I thank God for technology.
For real.
You just take it, and I can hit the memo thing, the notes. I sing directly into it. And then I actually go from there to sing the tune. Now, I get the songs in wholes.
Oh man.
So I get beginning, bridge, vamp. They all come to me, and then I have to flush it out.
I understand.
That's how I get mine.
Ooh. I think for me, I can't sit on things for too long. I don't know. It's really changed because I had to learn how to produce because the game was producing, especially the last 3 years. So now it's almost like I'll pick a sample. I'm really big into sampling and finding sources like no one can find. I got a couple places. So I'm very like, all right, let me find that sample. Boop, I'm going to just take that. And I'm going to just like chop it up a bit. And somewhere in the middle of that, it'll come a melody. But it's got to start with a melody. Like it's got to come from somewhere. And I think once I like started on guitar, the melodies were a bit, I don't know, constant. And now that I've started with producing, I'll find different melodies and then I'll have to produce around it. Like, so that can kind of slow me down. But it's never in like full it's generally in like, oh, I hear this one thing, let me lay that down, and then I'll probably save it and listen to it until I hear the next thing. So in total, I don't know. The best things take very little time. I'll say that.
Yeah, I get mine.
Very little time.
I get mine in seasons. So I get a season of like 4 months, and I can't unhear anything. I hear everything. I hear the whole song. I hear it, and I'll write probably 10 to 12, 15 songs.
Crazy.
In that little short period of time, and then I won't hear anything else, you know. And then because I think what I'm supposed to be doing is working on what I just heard. You know what I'm saying? And so I go into the downtime, and then I can always tell when I'm late with getting music out because I'm writing before I finished the last set of songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the season has started for me to write again. And that's how I end up getting my music and getting my sound. And now that you turn me on to doing my own stuff, my own production at the house, I cranks them out every time I hear them. Bada boom, bada beam, get them out.
That's the truth.
Oh.
It definitely comes in seasons. I will definitely say, because I was hitting it crazy from December until about March, and then I got sick, and then it was almost as if I didn't know what else to say or write about from like March until easily May.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of sitting in that. I love my mom being home, but I think mom surprising me coming home was kind of like
knocked off your creative juices.
Yeah, I had to get back into those financial juices.
We love you. We love you. We love you.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
We do. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
Really
it really is. It's really not your fault.
I don't know. It's just like different vibes. They create a different atmosphere. They create a different mood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
you really are a real artist, though. I'm not. I'm a preacher artist. You know. I enjoy singing. I enjoy the production of it. I enjoy writing music. I think I'm more of a writer even than I am a singer. But I'm probably more of a writer, performer of the songs. But you're a real artist. You got to find a song in your head while I'm talking so we can get out of here.
I got one.
And
it's
so this is Sonny Miles. This is my interview, my Father's Day interview. This is my surprise. And I hope that you all have enjoyed this moment. And we've had a good time so far. Just hanging out there. You want to come over here? You good? And so that's the next generation of little kids right there, my baby girl. And so Jordan and Sonny Miles is going to take us out. We named him Jordan Chandler, his mother and I. But as you can tell, he's evolved and he's growing into this artist. And love his voice and love his smoothness. And so check him out on all. Give me your media stuff. Give him your stuff.
Yes, Sonny 4FOR Miles, Sonny SONNY. Yeah, I'm everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music. Check out Obama's list. I was on that.
Yes, he was.
So yeah, we pushing. We moving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that you're going to see in my music, he has been mixing. He's mixing and mastering the songs that you're going to hear that I'm doing. Such an inspiration to be able to come out and do this. And so I appreciate him on my Father's Day. This is my Father's Day gift for us to hang out together. And we'll post this puppy on YouTube and a few other places, hopefully, if it looks good, if it comes out good. Listen, I hope you enjoyed yourself. This is Stephen Williams. They call me the Good Bishop. My boy over there is called Sonny Miles, and he is the singer extraordinaire. Listen to him as he takes us out.
Let's take it slow, for tomorrow may not take us down that road. Yeah, take it slow. There's a reason for my madness, don't you know? Yeah. 'Cause when it comes down to it, I'm waiting for you like the breeze in the cool wind. It's failing in June, don't you fret, my darling. It's coming around, stay with me. I'll show you how to take it slow. I'm only trying to see your indigo. Yeah, take it slow. I'm only trying to see your indigo. Yeah. You told me be patient. I will say, don't look down, just be still, oh, 'cause you know I'm only trying to see your indigo. Let's take it slow, for tomorrow may not take us down that road. Take it slow, girl, you never know what tomorrow could hold. 'Cause when it comes down to it, I'm waiting for you like the breeze in the cool wind. It's failing in June, don't you fret, my darling. It's coming around, stay with me. I'll show you how to take it slow. And I'm only trying to see your indigo. Yeah, take it slow. And I'm only trying to see your indigo. 'Cause you told me be patient. I will say, don't look down, oh, just be still, 'cause you know I'm only trying to see your indigo.
Take it slow. Yeah. That's him, Sonny Miles. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Father's Day got this whole piece, Behind the Veil. Stephen Williams, the good bishop. That there, Sonny Miles. And I appreciate him hanging out with me. Love you guys. Until the next time, let's keep it moving and take it slow. I want to see your what? Indigo.
Indigo.
See what I mean? Love it. God bless.